Hello YouTube, welcome back to Pilates Body Studios channel. My name's Janine and it's day 4 of our posture reset challenge. So we've covered day 1 was standing, day 2 was seated posture, day 3 was offsetting the standing and the seated posture, so more like a release. And now today, day 4 is about strengthening the back line. So the back line being all the muscles that run down the back of your body. So if we strengthen those, then being able to stand up straight and sit taller becomes easier. Okay, so the whole time those muscles are a little bit fatigued and a bit tired, they're not gonna hold you up as well. So let's hope that these exercises really benefit your posture. I'm looking forward to hearing your comments below. I hope you enjoy. Let's start on hands and knees. So finding your 4-point kneeling position, you've got your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. So once you've got down in this position, I want you to exaggerate the arch in your back. So I want you to really stick your bottom out and lift your chest up. So you're extending your spine. And then come back to neutral. So neutral is where there's a natural dip in the lower back and a dip at the neck. So we're exaggerating those two curves. We send the bottom up the wall behind us and lift the breastbone forwards and up. Careful not to overextend the neck because it will hurt and it'll feel uncomfortable there. So lift the chest bone, open the collarbone, slightly retract the shoulders and then come back to neutral. So when you exaggerate the arch of the back, it doesn't mean you've let go of the awareness of your tummy muscle. So lengthen the abdominal wall, stretch the space between the belly button and the chest, and then come back to neutral. So bottom up, chest forwards and up, shoulders retract slightly, so they draw towards each other slightly, and then come back to neutral. So we're going to encourage now that slight extension of your spine as you hinge back. So I'm going to exaggerate that extension in the spine and hinge back and then hinge forwards. So as I go back, if I was to continue going back, my spine would flex. Okay, so that I've gone too far there because I don't want the spine to flex. I want you to extend your spine as you hinge back, flexing the hip and knee, and keep that extension as you come forwards. So I'm exaggerating to go back and then exaggerating to come forward. So personally, I feel quite blocked in my hips. I feel quite restricted. So I just go to where I can, keeping that slight exaggeration. So I'm saying slight, I don't want there to be pain in your back. As always, listen to your body. If it doesn't feel right, then stop. But the reason I'm doing this is to activate these muscles in the back, stretch the muscles of the hip and activate those back muscles. So now we hinge back, slight exaggeration so that we don't flex. As we go back, we're now going to hinge straight up onto 2-point kneeling. So we go into like a mini squat, hinge down, hands down, rock forwards. So hinge and then up, hinge back and then down. So the takeoff is light and the landing here is light. So widen the sitting bones, hinge back, hinge up. Take a couple more there. So you may already start to feel your back muscles working, which is good. I want those back muscles to become more awake. And now let's rest back down on the 4-point position and now simply go to the side. So push my hip out to the side. I think of abducting the legs out to the other side and then pushing. So I'm in my head pushing my legs away from the direction I'm sending the hip. And then I'm going to continue with that. As I go to the side, I'm going to hinge back, exaggerate that slight arch in the back so I don't go into that flexed spine. Bottom up. Breathe naturally. In and out. So then once you're even there, we're going to come back to that start position. Just do a few more rocking back and forwards. Maybe that feels a little bit looser in the hips. So we're going to go back into that hinge back. We're going to add a rotation. So I'm going to hinge. As I come up, I'm going to rotate to one side. Come back, hinge, and down. So go back, hinge as I open, and then down. So widen the sitting bones, twist, exaggerate slightly more extension in the back to then activate the hips to come up. So really, really beneficial if you do spend a lot of time seated to get some functional movement into these hips. Hinge, open, hinge, down. Let's take a couple more. So I'm just starting to increase the pace a little bit. Only do that if it feels right for you. And then once you're even there, rest the hands back down. Now go into a flexed spine. So we take our cat. I'm going to tilt the hips, moving those hips over the thighs, round the lower back. I'm then going to rock back, keeping this spine actively flexed now. So then from there, I then stick the bottom out, lift the chest up. So I'm exaggerating that arch in the back again to come forwards. So we go cat, back, bottom goes out, chest lifts up, so arch in the back to come forwards. Lengthen the abdominals, hips, lower back, upper back, head, rock back. So think of keeping this active spine. Bottom goes out, chest lifts up, you hinge forwards. Let's take two more there. Just let it flow through the spine. And then we're going to give the wrists a break here. So just simply rest back, just stretch the arms. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can place your hands under your head, make two fists and rest the forehead down. And just breathing in and breathing out. And we're going to make our way onto our front. So coming down onto your tummy now, making sure that your ribs land underneath you and not slightly forward. So you've got ribs down, hips nice and relaxed. Maybe you want to give them a little bit of a shake there, side to side, just to relax any tension in the hips. And then we're going to take the arms down by the side. So I get my forehead on the mat there. So I've got the forehead down. You could put a head on a cushion or a towel if that feels uncomfortable. So take the arms down by your side, palms flat. So we start by lifting the head, sliding the nose forward slightly. Begin to lift the head and lift the front of the ribs. Now send those front ribs forwards and up, forwards and up. And once you're up, I want you to imagine someone standing on your hip, so your hips get heavier. Now feel the legs get lighter, so I slightly lift the legs up, not too high. I don't want to collapse here. I want to lengthen the spine, and I'm going to float the arms up. Take a breath in here, and then breathe out to come back down. So let's just say that was too heavy, too strong for your back. You could just keep your hands on the floor. You could keep your legs on the floor and just slowly coming up and then back down. So you don't have to lift, but prioritize your spine. So as you lift the back of the head comes up in line with the spine. Now send your front ribs forwards and up, forwards and up. So the direction is one of forwards. Then the hips sink heavy, the legs float up, the arms float. Breathe in here, keep the chest lifted, and then exhale to come down. So thinking back to day one, we did our roll downs into our back bends. We also did it in our seated position as well. So here we are lifting our bodies up against gravity, working the back of the body, back of the shoulders, back of the spine, back of the hips, and then coming back down. Let's take 2 more there. Lifting head, neck and chest. So my palms are down, so my arms have already rotated, but you could rotate them a bit more. Open the collarbones, feel that breadth across the chest. And back down. So you're feeling those muscles down your back. If you're feeling like you're too compressed here, if it's too strong here, then gently support with the front muscles. I don't want to over-engage the tummy because that will potentially make your back co-contract too much. So be careful, just use what you need, lifting up, opening out there. And then resting down. So we're going to, from now, we're going to slide our hands away from the body. So we lift the head, lift the chest. Hips are heavy, legs light. So I'm slightly lifted through the legs, but you don't have to be. You could keep the legs down. Fingertips stay on the floor. We're going to take the arms out to side and then overhead. Let the shoulders glide on the back. Return the arms all the way back down and rest down. And we go again. The head lifts up. The upper ribs travel forwards and up in your mind. The hips sink heavy, legs light, arms light. Sweep the floor. Up and then down. And rest. So if it feels like it's too much in your back, you could just have a little rest. You could shake your legs side to side just to give your back a rest because it is quite strong here. Coming up again if you can. Lift the head, lift the chest, sweep the arms and down. So using what you need, with regards to muscles, not just tensing everything all at once. So as my arms go up, I feel I need a bit more support in my tummy when I'm here than when I'm here. And resting down. Good, good. Pop your hands under your head for a moment. Just turn the head to one side. Breathing in. Breathing out. Just let the back recover there. And then turning the head to the other side. Just to stretch the neck the other way. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're going to come back to centre. I'm going to bend both knees. So we're going to keep the arms now down by the side. We're simply lifting the head as we did before for the dart. We're lifting the head, lifting the chest bone forwards and up. Then going to lift both knees off the floor just a little and hover the hands off. Breathe in here and then breathe out to come back down. So we've got this articulation of spine into extension. Hips sink heavy, legs are going to float up, arms are going to float up. And then back down. So if it's too strong with the arms and the legs coming up, then you keep the hands down and just lift the legs. And then back down. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm coming up bone by bone. I'm not just hinging up because that's going to feel uncomfortable in my lower back. So I visualize each bone of my back lifting forwards and up, forward and up. Hips sink heavy, knees float up, hands float up if you can. Inhale there, exhale back down. So we're going to do 4 of the next bit if you can. Don't worry if you can't. You can always come back to this video and build up to this. So we're inhaling, legs long, arms long. Exhale to bend. Inhale, legs long, arms long. Exhale to bend. Keep that spine extended. Keep those legs hovering. Last one. And then rest and relax. Have a little shake off of the hips. We're going to push back into rest position, bottom to heels, You can have legs together or you can have knees apart, but just let your back stretch the other way. Breathing in and breathing out. We're going to stretch that back a little bit now. Returning to the 4 points. You're going to bring your left hand in front of your right. We're going to round into the cat shape, rock back and rock forwards. So keep a sense of roundness to the back as you rock back and forth. Keep the neck long, stretching out those muscles that you've just worked. And then come back to center, other side. So right hand in front of left, round your back, sit back towards the heel. Rounding back. Keep tucking the hips under. And then slowly coming back to the start position and unravel the spine. You're going to make your way onto your back now. So having yourself in the center of floor space or in the center of your mat, align yourself, should I say, into the mat. And just check that the hips are neutral, spine neutral, and shoulders relaxed there. So have this sense that you want to, like you did on hands and knees, I'm slightly exaggerating the arch in my lower back. Now, what I'm trying not to do here is push my ribs up. Okay, so rib cage placed on the ground, pelvis lift and place on the ground. Slightly send the pubic bone towards the floor, away from the belly button, only slightly. So I'm slightly activated through those back muscles now. As I stand evenly into the feet, I'm going to lift the hips up. I'm going to stick the bottom out and lower the hips down. So again, I'm encouraging the back line to work for me. I don't want to over squeeze here. I don't want to squeeze my bottom too much, because what I will do, I'll co-contract my hip flexors, which I don't want to do. So I'm lifting and lowering, bringing hips towards the face and lowering hips down. So standing into the feet as we lift and lower. So I'm going up, down, up, down. Try not to push through the ribs. I'm going to do a little bit quicker if you can. So I'm at the top and I'm going to go down, up, down, up, down, up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now slowly, slowly curl down through your spine, imprinting back to neutral. And then let's spine curl up. So I'm not arching now, I'm flexing the spine, imprinting the spine into the ground to go up. So I roll pubic bone to belly button, imprint the lower back, peel the spine off. And then I come down, pubic bone to belly button, imprint the spine to come down, just to release the back the other way. And then once you've settled there, just bring the knees in if that feels comfortable for you. Just again to release that back that you've just worked. And slowly down and coming up from there. So I hope you enjoyed that. Day 4 of your posture reset, which was strengthening the back line. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 5. Take care. Bye-bye.